I stood by the window of my room upstairs, the pregnancy test result clutched in my hand. I was pregnant again. I had been noticing the signs for some time and had finally gone to the hospital for confirmation. The result came back positive. I smiled softly as I touched my stomach. I couldn't wait to tell my husband. We were going to have another child. It had been 6 years since we had our first child, our daughter Eva, and I hadn't conceived again until now. I knew Aiden's would be thrilled. I wanted to share the news in a special way. I stepped away from the window and called the maids to help decorate my room. I smiled in satisfaction once they were done. Next, I went to the kitchen to prepare Aiden's favorite meal, which also happened to be Eva's favorite. My daughter was so much like her father. Luna, you don't have to cook. I'll prepare whatever you want. I'll cook for us tonight, Elena. Take the day off and get some rest. Thank you, Luna. The Alpha will be so happy when he finds out you made his favorite dish. He doesn't usually eat much, but when it's your food, he can't get enough of it. I blushed. Aiden loved my cooking. He always had. After finishing the meal, I returned to my room. Just then, the door opened and my daughter walked in with her nanny, Octavia.
Mommy!
She ran into my arms. Oh, my Eva. I kissed her cheeks and stroked her hair. Hello, Luna. I sighed gently as I set Eva down. Octavia, I've told you several times. Stop calling me Luna. Just call me by my name. I'll try to. I'll help Eva change her clothes. I headed into the bathroom, took a bath, and changed into something elegant. Then I waited in my bedroom for my husband. But as I opened my eyes again, I groaned softly. I had dozed off on the bed. I checked my phone. It was 12:30 a.m. Aiden had never come home this late before. I was worried. I tried calling him, but no answer. His number wasn't going through. I called his office. But I was told that he hadn't shown up there all day. Where had he gone? I was deeply worried. Then I heard the sound of a car pulling into the house. Relief swept through me. My heart skipped, excitement bubbling at the thought of finally telling him the good news. He still looked as handsome as ever in the dim light.
Why are you still awake at this time?
He asked coldly, pulling away from my embrace and setting down his suitcase. He must be tired from work, I thought, still smiling brightly. I was worried about you. You look tired, I said gently, helping him out of his jacket. He paused when he noticed how decorated the room was. Was there an occasion he didn't know about?
Amelia, we need to talk.
He didn't ask. He had something more pressing to say. Sure, I'll prepare you a hot bath and then we can talk. I also have something to tell you, I said, heading for the bathroom.
There's no need for that. I want to talk now.
He interrupted. I paused. Something was off. His expression was unreadable, guarded, and cold. What's wrong, Aiden? Was the pack attacked again?
No, it's not that.
Then what is it? He stared at me for a long moment before handing me a file. I opened it. Divorce agreement. My heart sank. Aiden. But why? He looked me straight in the eyes.
Sophia is back.
Sophia? Your ex? What does she have to do with this?
Sophia left when she found out you were pregnant. She was my first love, and I want to go back to her.
Aiden, but I'm your mate. Chosen by the moon goddess.
Damn the goddess. Damn you being my mate. My father never married his mate, and he still raised a powerful alpha like me. I want a divorce, Amelia, and that's final.
His words hit me like a storm. Divorce? Divorce? Though the file in my hand already confirmed it.
Yes, Amelia. This marriage was a mistake.
His voice was ice cold. I stared at him, stunned. I've done nothing but love you. I wake early to prepare your food. I carry out my duties as Luna. What have I done wrong? My voice cracked. My teeth clattered together as my tears broke free.
What did I do? Where did I go wrong?
I whispered, sinking to the floor in tears. I had left everything behind for Aiden, my family, my pride, my home, and this was how he repaid me. What about Eva?
Eva is still my daughter. She'll stay here with me. You'll leave. Everything is detailed in the agreement.
He walked out, leaving me there alone, shattered. No. This is a dream, I whispered, trembling. A knock came at the door. I tried to respond, but no words came out. Luna, Eva's asking for you. She can't sleep. I think she has a high fever. I stood up quickly, wiped my tears, and rushed to my daughter's room. Eva lay on the bed, her eyes wide and body burning.
Eva, honey?
Mommy?
Tears spilled again as I stroked my daughter's burning forehead. We had been a happy family of 3, soon to be 4, and now Aiden wanted a divorce? How pathetic.
You're burning up,
I said in a panic, rushing into the bathroom for a wet towel and placing it on Eva's forehead. Octavia, go call Aiden. We need to take Eva to the hospital. But Octavia returned moments later. Alpha Aiden is nowhere to be found. He's left the house. I let out a shaky sigh as I stared down at my daughter, worry tightening around my chest. I picked up my phone and dialed Aiden. This time, he answered.
What do you want?
His voice was cold, distant. It pierced through me like a knife. In the background, I heard a female voice. Is that Amelia? The voice was familiar, painfully familiar. It was Sophia. He was with her. My fingers trembled. My grip on the phone tightened. Aiden, it's Eva. She's sick. We need to take her to the hospital. I said as calmly as I could, but my voice cracked slightly.
I'm on my way.
And the line went dead. He had been seeing Sophia. How long had it been going on? The thought clawed at my chest, threatening to unravel my sanity. But now wasn't the time. Eva was all that mattered. I turned to my daughter, her breathing soft and shallow now, her fever seeming to calm slightly. Octavia, you can go to sleep. I'll spend the night with Eva and wait for Aiden. Octavia nodded quietly and left, closing the door behind her. Alone, I sat by Eva's bedside and stroked her damp hair. Tears gathered in my eyes.
Mommy, why are you crying? I'm okay. I'm going to get well.
I forced a smile. I know, honey. You're a strong girl. Daddy is on his way. He'll take you to the hospital. Eva gave a faint nod. Eva, you're having a sibling. A wide smile spread across Eva's pale lips.
I'm having a baby brother?
She whispered, her voice cracking as tears spilled from her eyes. Eva had always wanted a baby brother. Someone to play with. Someone to protect.
Let's hope so,
I whispered, wiping my daughter's tears.
I'll name him Arthur and share all my toys with him. He's going to be the next alpha. We'll both be alphas together.
I smiled through my tears, brushing my daughter's hair back. But then, Eva began to shiver, violently. Before I could react, Eva threw up, and in the middle of it, there was blood. A chill swept down my spine.
Maids! Clean this up! Octavia! Towels now!
I cleaned my daughter up quickly, heart pounding.
It's okay, honey. You're going to be okay. Daddy's almost here.
I whispered, pulling Eva tightly into my arms, trying to stop my own hands from shaking.
I love you, Mommy.
Eva whispered weakly.
I love you too, baby.
Just then, the door burst open and Alpha Aiden stepped in, eyes scanning the room.
What's wrong?
He asked sharply, moving to take Eva from my arms. But Eva clung tightly to me, her small hands clutching my clothes. She didn't want to leave me. Not yet.
I don't know what's happening.
My voice broke. We rushed to the car, and minutes later, we were at the hospital. Now we stood outside the ward, watching as doctors worked frantically over our child. Aiden was pacing, hands clenched, jaw tight. He looked like a caged, angry wolf. Suddenly, he spun around to face me.
If anything happens to my daughter, I swear to God, I'll make you pay.
He hissed. I blinked, stunned.
What the hell are you saying?
My voice cracked with disbelief. I wasn't going to argue with him. Not now. All that mattered was Eva. Just then, the doctor stepped out of the ward.
Doctor,
How is she?
Your daughter was poisoned. We're trying our best to...
A nurse walked up and whispered something urgently.
Excuse me.
He muttered an excuse and walked away. Aiden turned back to me, eyes wild.
You poisoned Eva, didn't you? God! They warned me. They told me you'd do something like this. I should have known you were evil.
He barked. I stared at him, too stunned to speak. Poison Eva? My own daughter? The child I carried for 9 months? The child I nearly died giving birth to? My mouth opened, but nothing came out. Only a silent gasp. I didn't know what to say at this point. I turned and rushed inside the ward. Eva lay there, small and trembling, her eyes fluttering open.
Mommy?
I'm here, baby. You're going to be fine.
I said, holding back the scream that threatened to rip out of my throat. I couldn't cry. Not now. Not in front of my daughter. Did someone give you anything at school, honey? I asked gently.
No, Mommy. I only ate the food I had after coming home from school.
Eva said faintly. I swallowed hard. I had prepared that food myself, and Octavia had served it. But Octavia? No, she had been serving Eva since Eva's birth. She'd never poison Eva.
I love you, Mommy. You know that, right?
Eva whispered, her small hand pressing against my stomach.
And I love baby Arthur.
I held her hand, my tears finally falling.
I love you too, baby.
Then, Eva's eyes slowly closed. The lines on the screen went flat. The monitor let out a long, piercing beep.
Eva? What's going on? Eva! Eva! Doctor!
I screamed. Aiden, sitting outside the ward, stood immediately. I cried out as he rushed in.
Doctor! I don't know what's happening to Eva. She suddenly closed her eyes.
The medical team swarmed around the little girl. And then,
Time of death.
the doctor said, his voice barely above a whisper. The room spun. I collapsed to the floor, eyes wide, breath caught in my throat. Eva? Eva's gone. I couldn't feel my heart. It had stopped. My lungs burned, my soul shattered. The last thing I saw was the ceiling spinning before everything went black. My eyes fluttered open. Blinding white light met my gaze. I blinked. Once, twice. Then stared at the ceiling. I was in a hospital room. The sterile smell, the silence, the white walls. It all came crashing down.
Amelia?
A familiar voice said gently. I turned my head slowly and saw Tracy, my best friend, sitting at my bedside.
Tracy, what are you doing here? Where's Eva?
Tracy's eyes darkened with sorrow. She looked at me the way one looks at the broken, helpless, and heart-weakened. Then it hit me, Eva. Memories came rushing back like a tidal wave. Eva's fever, the blood, the hospital, the heart monitor going flat. My daughter was dead. I gasped, my breath catching as tears streamed down my cheeks.
Someone poisoned my daughter, Tracy.
I whispered, my voice cracking.
Someone killed my child.
My hands clutched at the hospital sheets, knuckles white.
She loved that meal. I made it for her myself. How could it have been poisoned?
You have to calm down, Amelia. You're pregnant. Please, you shouldn't stress yourself, Tracy said gently, placing her hands over mine.
How did you know I'm pregnant?
My voice still trembling. I was the only one who knew and no one else. The doctor told me. A sudden thought gripped me.
Does Aiden know?
Tracy shook her head slowly. He doesn't. He left before the test results came back. He's the one who called me. He asked me to stay with you.
He left?
I had just lost my daughter, and my husband couldn't stay to hold my hand. More tears welled up in my eyes. My throat tightened. I had lost everything in a single day, my daughter, my husband, my marriage. It all unraveled in the blink of an eye.
I need to talk to Aiden,
I muttered, suddenly pushing the sheets aside. My legs trembled as I stood. He can't divorce me. He needs to know I'm carrying his baby, and I didn't poison Eva. I would never do such a thing to my own child. We need to find who did this, Tracy. Whoever killed my baby, they need to pay.
Amelia, wait!
Tracy called after me, but I was already out the door. Tracy let out a long sigh, shaking her head. By the time she reached the hospital entrance, I was gone. I stepped out of the taxi and stood in front of the pack hall. My heart was pounding. Aiden needed to hear me out. He had to believe me. Maybe if I told him about the baby, he'd finally listen. I took a breath and walked inside. As I passed, pack members bowed in respect. I was still Luna, no matter what. I stepped into the elevator and rode to the 5th floor. Outside his office, I paused. The door was slightly open. I was about to knock when I heard voices. Aiden and a woman, Sophia. Through the small crack, I saw Sophia sitting on Aiden's desk in a short dress, giggling softly at something he said. The sight made my stomach turn.
I can't believe she poisoned my child.
His voice cold, pain laced in it.
She could have poisoned me too. I hate her. I just want her to sign the divorce papers.
My heart dropped like a stone. How could he think I'd poison our child? Tears blurred my vision. Are you sure she'll sign it?
She won't have a choice. After that, we'll have the rejection ceremony. That I'll reject her.
More tears rolled down my cheeks. But don't you love her?
Don't be mistaken. I feel nothing for her.
Sophia smiled, touching his shoulder. I knew she was evil. Once she's gone, we can finally be together. Aiden didn't respond. Aiden, did you hear me? He snapped, as though coming out of a trance.
What?
I said we'll finally be together once she's out of the picture. Aiden nodded. That was enough. I pushed the door open and stepped inside. Both Aiden and Sophia turned, stunned. Aren't you supposed to be in the hospital?
What do you want, Amelia?
Aiden asked coldly. His face showed no emotion, just ice.
I need to talk to you, Aiden, please.
I said, swallowing hard, forcing myself not to cry in front of Sophia.
You have nothing to say. You poisoned Eva. My child is dead because of you!
He growled.
I didn't kill her. I would never poison my daughter.
Who prepared the food she ate?
I did, but
That's all I need to know. You made the food. You poisoned her. Get out of my office.
Aiden, I didn't.
you heard him. Leave. Sophia said smugly, cutting me off. My fists clenched. I turned toward Sophia, fury burning in my eyes. And who are you to speak to me like that? This is between me and my husband. Stay out of it. Says the woman who killed her daughter. You don't deserve to be Luna or even Aiden's wife. Before anyone could blink, I slapped her. Twice. The sound echoed through the office. Don't you ever speak to me like that again, I hissed. I'm still Luna, and you have no right. Sophia's eyes filled with tears, fake ones. She looked to Aiden for sympathy.
Get out, Amelia.
Aiden?
I said get out!
He yelled, slamming his fist on the desk. I flinched. I nodded slowly, my throat aching, and turned away. Before the closed behind me, I saw Aiden pull Sophia into his arms, stroking her hair as she cried into his chest. The pain in my chest was unbearable. He believed Sophia. He chose Sophia. Back home, I stood tall despite my pain. I summoned every maid in the house and stood in front of them, my eyes bloodshot but determined. Who poisoned my daughter? I asked. My voice was low, cold, dangerous. The maids bowed, all shivering. No one answered. Who served the food I prepared? Octavia stepped forward.
I did, Luna. I swear on my life I didn't poison her. I've been with Eva since she was born. I would never hurt her.
I stared into her eyes, long and hard. I saw no lie. Octavia was telling the truth, but someone had poisoned my baby. Someone had taken my angel from me, and I was going to find out who it was and make them pay. There was no way I would find out who poisoned my daughter this way. I had made inquiries about the CCTV footage in the pack house. Turned out it had been tampered with. My daughter couldn't just go like that. I needed justice. Eva didn't deserve what had happened to her. She was just a little girl. Aiden, on the other hand, didn't believe me, so what could I possibly do?
Luna.
A voice called softly. I turned to see Aiden's beta, James, standing beside Tracy. James and Tracy were dating. James quietly dismissed the maids. And Tracy rushed to my side, catching me just as I began to collapse.
Amelia. Eva was such a sweet girl. She was my everything. Why would anyone poison her?
My voice broke as tears streamed freely down my face. Tracy's heart ached as she looked at me. Tears welled up in her eyes, too. The pain of a mother losing her child was unbearable. She wouldn't wish it on her worst enemy. They helped me to my room and stayed with me while I cried myself to sleep. When I finally dozed off, Tracy turned to James with pleading eyes. Is there any way you can talk to Alpha, Aiden? Maybe he'll listen to you. She wiped the corners of her eyes, then looked back at me. My face was damp with tears, even in sleep.
Aiden is stubborn. He already believes she poisoned their daughter.
James, please.
She almost told him I was pregnant, but stopped. It wasn't her place to spread the news.
Please, just see if you can talk to him. Change his mind.
I can't promise anything, but I'll try.
With that, he left the room. Evening came. I woke up, my eyes so swollen I could barely see. My face was pale, lips dry and trembling.
You need to eat something,
Tracy said softly, worry in her voice. You're pregnant, Amelia. You don't want to lose the baby, too.
I don't want to eat. I want my daughter.
I sobbed.
Amelia?
Tracy called gently, taking my hands in hers.
Let me go, Tracy! Let me go!
I cried, pulling away, my body shaking with grief. Then suddenly, the door flung open and silence fell like a storm. Alpha Aiden stepped into the room. I slowly raised my head. his scent hitting my senses. He looked at me blankly, his face unreadable. Why was he here? Wasn't he supposed to be with his mistress? Alpha Aiden, Tracy said, standing up quickly and bowing her head. Then she slipped out of the room, leaving us alone. For a moment, we just stared at each other. Then I broke the silence. Aren't you supposed to be with your mistress? I asked, my voice hollow. Aiden looked away, avoiding my eyes.
Get ready for the rejection ceremony. It'll be held at 10 p.m.
He said coldly. I laughed, a cracked, broken sound. I stood up, unsteady, my eyes wild. I had lost my child. Now I was losing my mate. My sanity teetered on the edge. Maybe I'd wake up in an asylum by morning. I moved closer to him, staring into his eyes. The warmth that once lived there was gone. Everything about him was ice. Tears streamed down my face as the realization sank in. My Aiden was gone. My mate was gone. There was no point in telling him about the baby. There's no need for the ceremony. Let's do the rejection here and now. Aiden hesitated, then nodded.
If that's what you want.
He stared at me, his voice flat, eyes emotionless.
I, Aiden Miller, Alpha of Red Moon Pack, reject you, Amelia Lopez, as my mate and Luna.
His words cut through the stillness like a knife. I stumbled back, eyes wide in shock and agony. The pain slammed into my chest like a flaming blade. It stole my breath, tore through my soul. My eyes searched his, desperately for warmth, for regret, anything. But there was nothing, only a cold, empty void. I gasped, a choked sound, as pain tore through my chest. The bond between us was unraveling, violently, viciously. Aiden was watching me, distant, detached, as if daring me to break. I, former Luna of Red Moon Pack, accept your rejection. Alpha Aiden Miller, I whispered. A whimper escaped my lips as the final thread snapped. A sob clawed its way out of my throat. My heart shattered, piece by piece, and I collapsed onto the ground. Clutching my chest, waves of pain racked my body. My daughter was gone. My mate was gone. And now, so was I. My lungs felt like they were closing. Everything around me blurred. I caught a glimpse of Aiden, still standing, still cold, doing nothing, as my world blacked out. When I opened my eyes, I was in my room. My body ached. I blinked and saw Tracy beside a familiar woman, the healer. I croaked. Tracy. Both women turned immediately. Luna, you're awake. How do you feel? The healer asked gently. My hand flew to my stomach. How's my baby? I asked, ignoring the question. The healer hesitated. The baby is okay. But your health isn't. You're extremely weak. And that could affect the pregnancy. Fear darkened my eyes. Will I lose my baby? The chances of miscarriage are very high. Until you're past the first trimester, you must rest as much as possible. The healer's voice softened. I nodded slowly. Even though I had lost my mate and my daughter, I wouldn't lose this baby. Not for anything. For Eva's sake. I'll bring your medications. I hope you recover soon. I called as the healer turned to leave. Wait. Yes, Luna? Don't let the Alpha know I'm pregnant. My voice was barely a whisper. The healer's eyes widened in shock, but she nodded. I'll see her out, Tracy said, walking the healer out. Suddenly, the door flung open again. I looked up, expecting Tracy. Instead, it was Sophia. What are you doing here? I asked, voice tight. Sophia chuckled. So you pretended to faint just to make Aiden stay? Pathetic. Her mocking voice made me flinch. We already broke the bond. He rejected me. I accepted. Oh, wonderful. Sophia smirked. That makes room for me to be Luna, especially now that I'm pregnant. She cradled her stomach with pride. I froze. Pregnant? Aiden had been cheating on me? He had been sleeping with her? Tears welled up in my eyes. Just then, the door opened again.
What are you doing here?
Tracy snapped at Sophia. Do not address me like that. I'm going to be Luna of this pack. In your dreams. Tracy spat, glaring. Sophia scoffed and stormed out. Tracy turned to me.
The audacity of that woman! I hate her so much!
I turned to the dressing table, picked up the divorce paper, and signed it with trembling hands.
What are you doing?
I ignored her. I walked to the wardrobe and began packing my clothes.
Amelia?
Tracy asked again. I turned to her, eyes hollow. There's no place for me here anymore. My daughter is gone. The bond is gone. Sophia is pregnant. I'm leaving.
What about the baby?
He doesn't have to know. I won't tell him, and I hope you won't either. I zipped my bag and looked at Tracy. Promise me. Don't tell anyone. Not even James. Tracy hesitated.
But Amelia, please. Promise me.
Tracy swallowed. I promise. I picked up my bag and headed toward the door, but Tracy blocked me.
You can't leave now, Amelia. You need rest. It's too dangerous.
I'll be fine. I'll call you once I'm settled. If anyone asks, say you don't know where I am. And with that, I walked the house and out of the pack. A few maids saw me go. Some people in the pack house did too. I boarded a taxi and didn't look back. I had wanted to go to my parents' house, but wasn't sure I'd be welcomed. They had warned me. They had never liked Aiden's family. Old wounds ran deep, but I had nowhere else to go. The taxi pulled up in front of a house that felt like a memory. I stepped out and paid the driver. I stood there, staring at the house I grew up in. I smiled sadly. I missed this place more than I could say. I walked to the front door and paused. Something inside me screamed, "Don't." But I pushed it down and knocked. A moment later, the door opened, and there stood Gloria, my sister.
Amelia? What are you doing here this late?
Gloria's eyes darted to the luggage. I didn't answer.
Gloria, who's at the door?
Came a familiar voice. My mother. A moment later, my mama appeared beside Gloria.
Amelia.
Her voice cracked with emotion.